$5,000 a month working remotely. That's your reality. You need a European base that's actually safe. Good food, real weather, not just endless summer. Spain's visa process is a bureaucratic nightmare. Italy will make you want to pull your hair out. Then you see Portugal everywhere. 20,000 digital nomads in Lisbon alone. Beaches, sunshine, 5 years to EU citizenship. But something changed in January 2024. The tax regime that made Portugal famous just vanished. Now we're talking about losing half your income. Not 40%, not 30, 50% or more. So the question is that EU passport still worth it? Who should even consider this? You need serious income, 10,000 a month minimum, because when you're handing over 5,000 to the Portuguese tax authorities, you better still have enough left to actually live. This works if citizenship is your end game. If you're playing the long game for that EU passport, if safety and infrastructure matter more than keeping every dollar. But listen carefully. If you're under 35 and trying to build wealth, run. Those 50% taxes will obliterate your compound returns. You'll look back in 10 years and realize you gave away hundreds of thousands for a passport. If you need cheap living to make this lifestyle sustainable, Portugal isn't it anymore. If bureaucracy makes you insane, you'll hate it here. And if you get seasonal depression, those dark, damp Portuguese winters will wreck you. What it actually costs. Forget what you saw on YouTube in 2020. Those numbers are ancient history. $2,500 a month gets you survival mode in Lisbon, studio way out in the suburbs, or a bedroom in a shared flat. You're cooking rice and beans most nights, taking the metro everywhere, working from cafes because you can't afford co-working, going out once a week if you're lucky. Most people land around $3,500 to $4,000. That's comfortable. One bedroom outside the center, eating out a few times weekly, co-working membership, so you're not going insane at home. An actual social life, not penny pinching every purchase. $4,500 to $6,500 gets you the good life. Prime neighborhoods, restaurants whenever you want, the nice gym, Uber everywhere. Porto runs you 20 to 30% less across the board, but nobody mentions this part. Lisbon rents jumped 17% in just 1 year, 2022 to 2023, still climbing, and the apartments are a joke in winter. No insulation, no central heating, you will freeze, you will see mold. Add another $100 to $300 monthly just trying to stay warm. Getting in the D8 visa is actually reasonable. Show them $3,800 monthly income, 3 months of bank statements, $11,000 sitting in your account, health insurance covering $30,000 minimum. Total fees run $300 to $600. Processing takes 2 to 4 months. The prize is citizenship after 5 years. That EU passport opens every country in the Union. Live anywhere, work anywhere. Except there's a proposal floating around right now, passed Parliament in October 2025. Extends that 5 years to 10. Still needs final approval. If it goes through, you're looking at double the time, double the taxes paid. That completely changes the equation. The visa process itself is manageable. AIMA, the immigration agency, is where you'll lose your mind. Appointments take months. Paperwork moves at a glacial pace. Portuguese bureaucracy is legendary for all the wrong reasons. The tax devastation. Until January 2024, Portugal had the non-habitual resident program, 20% flat tax, most foreign income tax-free, incredible deal. Gone overnight. Now you're in the standard progressive system. Make $45,000 yearly for the minimum visa requirement, you hit the 43% bracket immediately. Self-employed? Add 21% social security. Do the math with me. $6,000 monthly, $72,000 yearly. You're paying $38,000 in taxes. 63% gone when you include social security. Keep that up for 5 years. You just paid over $270,000 for citizenship. Dubai? Zero income tax. Keep all $72,000. 5 years equals $360,000 take home versus Portugal's $90,000. That EU passport cost you $270,000. Maybe that's worth it to you. EU citizenship has real value, but be clear-eyed about what you're paying. They introduced something new for tech and research workers. Most digital nomads won't qualify. Don't plan around it. The basics work. Portugal's internet is genuinely excellent. 172 megabits per second average in Lisbon. Fiber reaches 88 to 91% of homes. 30 to 50 euros monthly. Fast, reliable, cheap. This part actually works. Healthcare ranks 23rd globally. Public system is nearly free for residents, but wait times are brutal. 30% of people wait over 3 months for appointments. Private insurance costs $40 to $150 monthly. English-speaking doctors, fast appointments. Safety is exceptional. 7th safest country worldwide. Violent crime barely exists. Your real concern is pickpockets on touristy tram lines and crowded squares. Front pockets for phones. You'll be fine. The part nobody warns you about. 20,000 digital nomads in Lisbon, 100 co-working spaces, constant meetups, massive Facebook groups. Meeting people is effortless. Building real friendships is nearly impossible. Everyone's temporary. That friend you made last week? Gone in 2 months. The group you started hanging with? Half of them vanish by next quarter. The community is enormous, but it churns constantly. Deep connections require time and stability. This place offers neither. Portuguese locals? Language barrier is real. Their social circles formed in childhood. They're warm but reserved with outsiders. Plus, growing resentment because you're part of the problem pricing them out. They make $1,700 monthly. You make 5 times that. They notice. They care. You'll spend most of your time in the expat bubble, which works for some people. But if you pictured yourself speaking Portuguese daily and embedded in Portuguese culture, recalibrate those expectations. Winter amplifies everything. Dark at 5, grey, rainy, freezing indoors because Portuguese buildings are trash for insulation. This is when loneliness becomes crushing. Summer friends have left. Days are short. If seasonal depression is part of your life, factor this in seriously. Be honest with yourself. Can you handle surface-level friendships that rotate every quarter? Are you genuinely okay being alone? Because that's the reality here. Scams are everywhere. Rental fraud is out of control. Porto police arrested 12 people in 2024. Over 200 victims. €250,000 stolen. Common pattern. Amazing apartment. Suspiciously cheap. Owner claims they moved to the UK for work. Needs deposit before viewing. $1,600 to $2,400. You send it. Apartment doesn't exist or isn't theirs. Another version. Rent an Airbnb short-term. List it for long-term rental. Show it to victims. Rush them to sign and pay months up front. Disappear. Never pay without seeing it in person. Use Airbnb your first month. Reverse image search photos. Meet the actual landlord. Verify their ID. Proper contract always. If they're pushing you to move fast, walk away. Pickpocketing is constant. Tram 28 is pickpocket central. They bump you while a partner grabs your phone. Front pockets, anti-theft bags, eyes up in crowds. Skip regular taxis. Some run broken meters or wrong routes to inflate fares. Uber and Bolt solve this completely. Restaurants bring bread and olives automatically, then charge 2 to 3 euros. Legal but annoying. Refuse it up front. One place, Cabo Ruivo, is infamous for €50 beers because menus lack prices. Always verify prices before ordering. Romance and dating. Foreign women generally have easier times. Portuguese men show interest. Apps function reasonably. Foreign men struggle more. Portuguese women stay reserved on dating platforms. Real concern is romance scams, though. Weeks of online connection building. Then an emergency appears. Need money for visa, for tickets, medical bills. Then gone. If you haven't met them in person and they want money, it's a scam. Always. Portugal is quite accepting for LGBTQ folks in cities. Same-sex marriage legal since 2010. Lisbon hosts big pride events. Rural areas lean conservative, but cities are fine. Politics and stability. Portugal is stable. Solid democracy. EU and NATO member. Low crime. Main tension is housing crisis creating anti-foreigner anger. Graffiti telling tourists to leave. Gentrification protests. Not violent, but resentment is building. Bureaucracy is the other nightmare. Everything governmental moves impossibly slowly. Appointments, paperwork, any official process takes forever. If that stresses you out, factor it in. Final assessment. Taxes, 2 out of 10. Absolute catastrophe after NHR ended. Visa, 8 out of 10. Clear path to citizenship. Cost, 6 out of 10. Not cheap, but cheaper than London or New York. Infrastructure, 9 out of 10. Internet and healthcare both solid. Safety, 9 out of 10, remarkably safe. Social, 7 out of 10. Easy, superficial connections, hard depth. Dating, 5 out of 10. Depends on your demographic. Perfect for you if citizenship is the goal and you can absorb 50% taxes. If safety and infrastructure outweigh money. If transient friendships don't bother you. If bureaucracy is just an annoyance, not a deal breaker. Skip entirely if you're building wealth in your 20s or 30s. If you need cheap living to make nomad life work. If loneliness destroys you. If cold, moldy winters sound miserable. If tax optimization matters. Against other options, way pricier than Thailand or Mexico. Better infrastructure than Latin America, but worse taxes than almost anywhere. Safer than most places, but more boring than expected. Spain offers similar lifestyle with potentially better tax situations. Dubai has 0 taxes, but way less culture and harder permanent residency. What you should do. Visit for 3 months minimum. Include winter to test those miserable apartments. Try making local friends and see how that goes. Experience bureaucracy firsthand getting your tax number and bank account. Calculate real costs, including heating. If loneliness wrecks you and you need deep friendships, be very careful. Rotating temporary friends gets exhausting fast. If you're independent and comfortable alone, you'll probably handle it. Coming mainly for citizenship, calculate what you're paying. $200,000 to $300,000 in extra taxes over 5 years. Is that EU passport worth it to you? For some, yes. For others, absolutely not. Keep your exit plan ready. Don't burn bridges. Give yourself permission to bail if it's not working. Too many people feel stuck after investing so much. Portugal in 2025. Trade half your income for European citizenship and sunshine. Worth it for the right person. Financial disaster for everyone else.